Hello, everybody, and welcome to another The Builders. Today we are joined by Ed Oyama. Welcome to the show.
Oh yeah,
I
my
almost
God.
messed it up.
That was
It
my
was
nickname or my nickname in high school. The friends that didn't get it or that just want to have a good time, they're like, Ed, yo mama. I'm like, yeah, yo
Ed
mama.
Oyama.
It's like, oh my gosh. You did it. Well, at least
Hey,
you remember. You remember.
yes,
There we go.
yes. And I was reading it too, so for me to mess that up, I try my best. I really do. Before every episode, for the people that are listening, I actually practice a little bit, make sure I
Yes, you
check
do.
because I do care, but that doesn't mean I won't still mess it up.
Us Japanese, we make it hard.
I've
We're
seen
really
worse.
working on that
Well,
as a nation.
I don't exactly have an easy name either. So, Levenhagen or
True.
Liebenhagen or Liebenhagen, wherever you are in the world, you can pronounce it different ways. So,
Wow.
um,
Wait, what's your preferred pronunciation?
my side of the family. So, large family, half the family Levenhagen. That's our half, and then the other half is like Liebenhagen. That's how they
Shout
pronounce it.
out. Even within
And
the
so,
family. Wow.
yeah. So
Amazing.
it's yeah. I'll go by whatever. What you can call me whatever you want.
Cool, cool, cool.
Yeah. Um. Anyway, so Ed, we are going to talk about simplicity today, or simplifying things,
Yes.
and that's actually a great topic because we can, no matter what we're doing, we can overcomplicate things, can't we?
Oh, all the time, every day, 24/7, twice on Sunday.
Absolutely. So, well, first of all, before we get into that, let's take a minute and tell us what you do. What are you doing? Like, you got a company, you got a agency, what do you do? What are
Yes,
you teaching
sir.
people stuff?
So I'm Ed Oyama. My company is Super Simple Marketing, and I am a coach, specifically business and content marketing. I help people make simple videos that book them great sales calls. And I find that, especially with smart people, we tend to make stuff more complicated than we have to because we feel like, if it's not complicated, if we don't go deep, if it's not nuanced, what is it? But we forget that, it's the curse of knowledge. We forget that people just need to get started. They need one step, not 27. And I
Yeah,
love helping people simplify that process to start creating content.
love it. Well, okay. So before we get into the weeds and what you do specifically and talking about that stuff, tell us a little bit more about yourself and what kind of your origin story is. How your journey to how you discovered either business or the stuff you're doing in the world, how everything led up to that, and how you're yeah, that. So I'll
I
throw it to
never
you.
thought I would be running my own business. I'll tell you that much.
No.
No, actually, no. I just wanted to be a part of the team that built the next Counter-Strike. Like I
Oh.
wanted to be a game designer way
Oh,
back
really?
when. Yeah, so that's what I
Oh,
went
that's
to
very cool.
college for. Well, I went to college for computer science. And I was very quickly overwhelmed. I realized, oh, we got to do all sorts of things. And what happened was I got really depressed. It was really hard. I miraculously graduated as a mathematics of computation major.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, which arguably isn't that much easier, but computer science required teamwork. And at that time of my life, been burned by too many group projects in high school, didn't trust people. Professor said you could do it in a group or you could do it on your own. I didn't realize that the on your own option was for the brilliant people that could do three people's worth of work. So me
Right.
with my trust issues, I just said, "Oh, I can do that." No, didn't work out very well. Almost dropped out of UCLA, but survived. Realized I really did like graphic design after all, but wanted to find a greater purpose in life. I ended up 12 years in Asia. 8 of those years I lived in this country most people have never heard of and almost everyone can't spell, called Kyrgyzstan.
Kyrgyzstan.
Kyrgyzstan, Kyrgyzstan. There's only one proper vowel in it. The rest are Y's. But
Why did they do that?
oh man, I went on these summer missions trips because someone came to my church back room and said, "Hey, if you can teach English, you can make a difference in some kids' lives." At that point in my life, I was like, with a math degree, I don't want to do anything that mathematical. Like, if you trust me to calculate the orbits of a satellite or crunch some significant numbers, something's going to blow up and someone's going to get hurt.
Hey, you know what? At least you know your limitations, right? Like,
I'm very aware of my
you're not
limitations.
putting the rest of us in danger
I
by
don't want
trying.
anyone to get hurt by a satellite falling out of the sky that didn't have to fall out of the sky, right?
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm serving you out here. But I ended up out there because like I wanted to be a math teacher and then I realized, after going on a few of these trips, it was right. Like I can help some kids. Like kids English, especially in the early OOs, it was a massive door opener for kids on that side of the world, for them to do everything from get into the best schools in their city or their country to study abroad programs. And when they get out of Kyrgyzstan and they get to see the rest of the world, they come back changed. And it was the most amazing thing. And it just felt so worthwhile that at one point in 2007, I sold almost everything I had and moved to Asia. It was starting
Wow.
English camps, English clubs, and helping out with a little church plant in an apartment in the capital of Kyrgyzstan. It was like the craziest thing.
Wow.
Studying
That
Russian, studying Kyrgyz, so I speak those languages now.
well,
And
so you had to learn all new languages, and there was a lot of Russian there too. There
right,
was
yeah, it
I
was
don't know.
former Soviet Union until
Oh,
like
okay.
what 1991 when that whole thing fell apart, and then they had independence, became a democracy. It was an adventure to say the least. And the pivot back to where you started me on, like, well, what's your origin story? I realized that even though we had become the best English camp in the country, most likely, like I knew who our competition was, and I'm like, I think we got them beat on price, we got them beat on quality, and we're actually the most fun. But I realized that even though we are the best by reputation and by results, we still had to market. Word of
Hmm.
mouth wasn't enough. We had to figure out how to let people know. And us being understaffed, especially after the revolution in 2010, no one wanted to send their kids out there. And any volunteers that wanted to come out, they had to argue with their families, like, no, 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 I really believe this is good and important.
Also,
Uh,
it was dangerous to go out, or
in
it was the
actuality, no. Amazingly, the revolution in 2010, the bulk of it was over in 48 hours. And I didn't realize how weird that was until I took a step back and thought about how revolutions typically go. I mean, American Revolution, that took a while.
yeah.
I think Thailand, is it still going? Vietnam, like Korea, like you think about revolutionary overthrows, French Revolution. I don't know. I'm terrible at history, but typically it takes more than 2 days
Typically, yeah.
to overthrow the country, get the old leadership out, install something like a new leadership so it's not total chaos and bloody murder in the streets and craziness. But they had an interim government installed like the following week, and I was like,
Wow.
"How about that?" But yeah, no one wanted.
Good good
It
planning, and
was
they kept
good,
it they
yeah.
kept it simple. I bet.
Exactly. It was on brand for me. Should talk about that as a lesson. Oh no,
There you go.
but it worked. It worked. It definitely
Yeah.
worked. Like
Wow.
it was really something. But I had to learn with significantly less volunteer flow coming through our organization. How can we get the same number of kids into our summer programs? And at one point, it was just me and my wife and a baby on the way, like one summer, 1 year. And so I'm like, how do you make this work? And I realized, oh, what if we're doing this the wrong way? As crazy as that sounds, we'd always been doing it the same way. But it was funny because that way, when I look at it now, it makes no sense. We were just passing out flyers directly to high school kids and seeing if they spoke English and if they'd like to come. And you'd get like one, maybe 5 in 100 would call you, and one of half of those or less would actually sign up for the class. So you're really pounding the ground out there,
Mhm.
passing out flyers. one day, I think I was listening to some podcasts because I was tasked with starting a leadership club too. And so I'm listening to leadership podcasts, Seth Godin, John Maxwell. But Seth starts talking about things like, well, who is the real person you want to talk to here? And it got me thinking, wait, I think the people we really want to talk to are not the kids themselves, but their parents, because they're the ones that make decisions in these kids' lives. And convincing people in my organization, as wild as it sounds now, it was a project for me. They're like, no, don't waste your time doing this. We've always done it this way. Keep doing it because it works. And I'm like, well,
That's
okay,
a common problem.
common
Are
problem,
you?
right?
Yeah.
And but then another Seth Godin idea came into my lap. I was like, well, what if I could do a test that would cost me less than an hour a week? And now I know the word is split test. But I just went to the market, bought myself another SIM card for $5, put it in an old Nokia brick phone next to my nice phone. So, all right, whichever one of these numbers rings more, we'll know
Oh,
quantitatively
nice.
that this is the better idea. And so I started making flyers aimed at grandmas because we realized a lot of our students came from grandmas, and grandmas are super connectors. Grandmas, if they find out about your English class, they will tell their neighbors, they will tell their friends, and we end up getting 5 kids more or less for every grandma that comes through our door.
Wow.
So we had to change a lot of stuff. Our flyers were in English, which also sounds silly now, but we changed it so it was in Russian, language of the people. We started posting these flyers at bus stops. And because one of the kids that I was sitting with, the middle schooler, said, well, my grandma, she pulls the phone numbers off of any flyer that she's interested because they have phone numbers and they cut and you can rip one off. I'm like, oh, so old school. She's like, yeah, but she actually sits down, pours herself a cup of tea, and she'll call all of them. I'm like, no way. This works. She's like, well, it works for my grandma. So I tried it and we printed a couple. They were full of typos because my Russian was awful. My kids laughed at me so much when they saw it. They're like, Ed, you got to print a version too. This is embarrassing here. But we put it there, and that phone started ringing 10 times as often as the other phone. And
Wow.
so I told the team that was making decisions and was pushing back on me, like, hey, what if I told you I found a very simple way that takes me half the time and I get 10 times the response? Could I do that? And they're like, what? I have proof, by the way. Here's a list of
Yeah.
phone numbers, and I could send them a picture of like all of that. This is like almost pre-Skype at this point, but so I'm just emailing them photos of my list. Like, this is the list that came from this. That's the list that came from that. Was relatively simple to set up. I just made a flyer, printed it. Like, I can make this flyer in Word, and the results were pretty amazing. Like, it was just, oh, is this light on a motion center? It's embarrassing.
Nice. Those just
So,
on audio, he just went dark for a second. And
yeah.
I just have to
So,
get up once in a while.
got to get up. Good reminder. Good reminder. So,
No, this is an incredible lesson though. Like, there's so much in this. Like, of course, A/B
wow.
split testing is a good thing to begin with. I mean, whether
Oh,
you're
yeah.
talking about anything in business or your website, anything.
A
Um,
website. Yes.
but like at the same time, like a lot of stuff, even myself, like if I'm trying to get more business or whatever, everything's experiments. You don't have to put everything into something. You don't have to try to
Mm,
convince anybody, but you can convince them, like, let's have a bucket of, 10% of what we do is an experiment or something like that, something off the wall.
beautiful. Yeah.
And you try things, and then you get the results, and now you have something you can actually take back and or yourself
Right.
make that decision. This works. I love that.
And
And
convincing
that's
the people that need
it's
convinced.
awesome that it's real world, like grounded in real world stuff. I love that.
Oh my gosh. It was such a happy thing for me and my wife too. I'll tell you that. And we got
Sure.
some of the best kids into the program. It was so fun. And it was just wins all around. And it's funny because from there, like I started to realize other things about the same time. So I fundraised all of my salary myself because it's a nonprofit. And that was just the way it was structured. And I almost never went home. I was in Kyrgyzstan about 23 out of every 24 months. So rarely at home. And my
Mhm.
communication was mostly by email. We didn't do Zoom. We didn't have like webinars. Like video was relatively new. It was like 2010, 2012-ish at this point. And I realized we were using this app called MailChimp, which is still around.
Yeah, I use
They've
it.
changed a lot over the years, right? But MailChimp, I realized, oh, I can see my statistics. How cool is that? And I can see how many people open. Oh my gosh, nobody's opening my emails. What's wrong? They love me. They love our work. They love everything about it. Why don't they read the email? And it was very mysterious to me until I pull on another few threads. I listened to a few more podcasts and I realized, wait a second, subject lines might be really important here.
Yeah.
Well, what am I calling my emails? I'm not even thinking about it. I called it, oh, snap. You mean update number 17 might not be a good subject line? Wait, get out. What if, wait,
Sure.
let's just try something. Let's make it different. It's not a split test at this point, but I was just like, on a whim, let me just write my next email instead of update number 17, like, great news, uh, breakthrough with the university, because there was something cool that happened. And I'm like, wait a second. Open rate went up from like 2% to 20%.
I'm sure it did. Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, just tell people what the email is about? Or even get more clever, like urgent request, please read if it's actually urgent.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I was like, how about that?
People
And
open
then,
that.
wait, if I put the call to action higher up in the email, I'll get more action. Like, if there's a fundraising request and I put it at the very end of a very long story, oh, a lot of people don't actually make it. How about that? So, what if I just start the email different? Like, it's kind of like these days where you have a trailer for the movie trailer before the trailer. I would just give the super short version of the story, TLDR, because that was a new phrase back then. Or like TLDR, hey, cool thing happened with the director of the university. Basically, that thing I was telling you about last week, it happened. So cool. We're at 27% of our fundraising. Mildly concerned. We have 8 weeks left, but actually, yeah, it's kind of becoming a big concern. But if you feel led, here's the link. Get more clicks. How about that? Right? Like these things happen. And I didn't realize until after I came home in 2019 and I got the urge to start a business that like this sort of stuff was actually really useful to small business owners and not obvious to them either.
That's the thing. Like as somebody that's been on the web for 20 plus years, all this stuff is like, oh, of course, but
True, true, true.
but we have to remember that even as some like I'm with my web design development and stuff like that, when I'm talking to clients and stuff, I gotta realize where they're starting at. They may have no clue about this. They haven't even thought about that. They have
Yeah.
no there, and there's tons of people out there that need somebody that has and you're I always commend people or when somebody like yourself that I know where you're leading, where you're going, right? You're going to start this business. You're going to do that, but you're doing it grounded in personal experience, having been in the trenches and learned these lessons the hard way, and
So hard.
and you have stories to tell, which also helps. But yeah, I mean, I think it's amazing, and got to always remember like we're the experts in the room. Like when you're getting on a call with a client or whatever, there's a lot of things that seem obvious to us, but it's
Right.
earth shaking to them, and especially when they see the results.
Oh my word. And then sometimes our ideas don't land because we're telling them step three and we didn't even realize they didn't understand step zero, and that's why it
Right,
makes no sense. But if you
right.
just explain one or two things, they're like, oh, I get it.
Well, that's why it's really important. I always try to get any client, especially new clients or somebody I'm talking to at a company the first time or whatever, is trying to get a baseline. Like trying to some initial
Smart.
questions to just kind of see where they are, and they'll admit if I I'm not techie or I'm not this or I'm not that, and then you know where to start. You bring your language back down to a more normal level, but once in a while you meet somebody that's really they are really into tech, or are really into the stuff, whatever you're doing. They've got a marketing
Right.
background, so now you got to elevate how you talk to them, and
Gotta elevate
good
after.
stuff.
That's so
Yeah,
true. That's so true.
yeah,
Yeah.
good stuff. So now you said 2019 you came back. You're
2019
back
came back. Yeah.
and in somewhere you came back to the States somewhere, and you're still in California. Where are
I
you?
got in big trouble in Asia. It turns out in some
You
parts
got in
of
big
Asia,
trouble.
you can't talk openly about your faith and things. And that actually caught up with me one day.
Really?
No, yeah. Yeah. I typically don't say it on things just in case. Like but if anyone ever wants to talk, I'll DM them all day, but because I want to be able to go back to this country one day, but that being said, this is a country that watches their socials, and I don't mind leaving clues. I just know that if I say the name of the country, it might get there. But
Okay.
but
We don't have to.
basically, it's a country that's very large, and it's in East Asia.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it
And
at that.
anyway, it's said that there's religious freedom, but I found out the hard
You
way that
found out
there is.
otherwise, huh?
Yeah. So I had a very long conversation with their police and security, and eventually basically got deported, got my visa canceled, and I was like, oh
Wow.
wow, I'm a gangster now. What about that?
No
And
kidding.
ended up back in California. I worked with Christian ministry at Cal State Long Beach and UCLA for a little bit, doing like, college Bible studies, that sort of thing. And then a pandemic happened, ministry's closed, college is closed. We're like, what do we even do anymore? And someone on the team's like, well, Ed knows how to make websites. I'm like, for fun, like blogger.com, like
Blogger.com.
wordpress.com, plug a theme in kind of thing. I'm not that smart. But then I realized YouTube's come a long way since back then, and I'm like, oh, I can figure out everything's figure outable. How about that? Um,
Everything is
and
figure outable. Yeah.
yeah, they didn't give me a lot of time to figure this out or much budget. So I just said, you know what? I would rather enjoy my evening. So I'm just going to put 50 bucks into the first WordPress theme that speaks to me and install it on their domain and launch the thing. And people came to me and said, this is the best church website I have ever seen. I'm like, no, no, don't. You must not have seen very many, but
Ah,
it's just a stock. But then that's the thing, to the outsider that doesn't know about WordPress or websites, they're like, this is so cool. How did you set it up in a day? And I'm like, interesting. And I did
I'm brilliant. I'm
yeah.
brilliant. I'm really smart. I'm a genius. Quick pause to give a shout out to the sponsors of the Builders Podcast, Unified Web Design and UnifiedLabs.ai. At Unified Web Design, we specialize in crafting custom websites and offering complete design and development solutions to help businesses build a strong, lasting online presence. Now, through UnifiedLabs.ai, a project I'm really excited about, we're helping businesses tap into the power of AI and automation, designing smarter systems, streamlining operations, and building practical tools that actually work. From audits to implementation, we help brands navigate the AI landscape with clarity and confidence. Whether you need a custom website or you're ready to explore how AI can transform your workflows, visit unifiedwebdesign.com and unifiedlabs.ai. Now back to our show.
It's no, I watched 22 hours of YouTube
And clicked a few buttons
and
and boom.
actually misinstalled it 3 times and fumbled around the IP address. Like, what is an IP address? What's the DNS? Oh man. Like
Yeah, these big words.
Googling all the things, hanging out in message boards, but eventually like the thing goes up. Or actually, it went up pretty fast, and then I brought it down by accident, and then I had to figure out how to bring it back. And then I learned backups are important. And
True.
yeah, it's
Yeah, you're learning as you go, which is
learning
good. I
as I
mean,
go.
the important thing is you're taking action,
Yeah,
doing
yeah, yeah.
it.
That's so true, actually. That's so true. And so when everything kind of fell apart a little later in the pandemic, it was like, I wonder if I could do this for a living. And having run the English camps back in Asia, I was like, what? what's stopping me from trying this on my own? And then as I went out and shopped websites around and talked to people at the Chamber of Commerce and at Business Networking International, BNI, and different organizations, got cool opportunities. Some of them didn't work. Actually, most of them didn't work out. But I realized I'd talk about things and people would say, wait, 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 that thing you just said about Instagram. I was like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Reels get you reach. Selling your stories. I'm like, could you explain that? Unpack that for me. I was like, oh yeah. And then I realized it was another case where it's like, wait, I know something valuable. And it's clear and obvious to me. And I forgot that that was so helpful and so game changing when I first learned it. And now I do it on autopilot. And it was especially around that point that someone said, Ed, I would pay you to learn how you just got a discovery call off of LinkedIn. And I was like, no, no, no. Like I only did it once. It was my first time. And I'm as surprised as you. Let's just go get a coffee. And she's like, Ed, I know you're new in business. So hear me out. I just said I would pay you. The business person thing to do would be to say, I'll take the money.
Sure. Yes.
I was like, oh, so she's like, name your price. And I'm like, I did a little bit of Uber Eats in between things. So I thought of the biggest number I could imagine for this sort of thing, which was twice a good hour on Uber Eats, which was about $60. Did the math. I'm like, hey, $65, I'll talk to you for an hour and I'll give you the whole thing. She's like, sure. And I was like, you said that really fast. Could I have asked for more?
You should have said 265.
But what I did was, and I wasn't confident enough to say anything with 3 digits in it. Mind you. But the next time someone asked, because someone asked about Instagram next, I just added $20 to it just to see what would happen. About the time that I got to 125, it really got me thinking. And then I'm finally starting to get some resistance. People say, let me think about it. And I'm like, wait a second. I'm so slow when I build websites because I'm actually not that good at it that this is like way more hourly. And I know I'm not supposed to be thinking that much hourly. I'm starting to learn about value based pricing at this point. But I'm like, this is probably my sweet spot. This is more where it's at. Plus, I love it. I was an English
Yeah.
teacher. I was a Bible teacher. I mean, the whole thing is like I'm breaking down complicated stuff and making it simple for people and fun. Like that was part of our English camp. And
So you like the idea of coaching somebody and helping them and explaining something to them and rather than the technical part of like building a website or something like that.
for sure. Like,
Yeah.
and it took me a whole year to get my confidence to the point where I said, you know, I'm going to go all in as a coach, strategist, consultant type. Like, I took a year in between that trying to start a social media agency and creating SOPs very badly, working with a VA kind of awkwardly. Like she doesn't know what she's doing. And I'm like, but Tim Ferriss said this would make my life easier. 4 hour work.
Right.
Why am I doing twice as much work now? I feel like I'm explaining everything, explaining it so badly that I got to explain it again and again. And then I retool it while I'm explaining it. And then I wait. Oh, I shot myself in the foot. That's not an SOP. That's
It's never, yeah, those things aren't always as easy as they sound. Those
yeah,
things.
yeah. Oh my word. Like,
I think I want to just pause for a second. I keep thinking of this. I had somebody on my podcast a long time ago. I've been doing this for a while. I really early on, like 3, 4 years ago, he was actually somebody I knew. I knew from like back in the day when I used to do advertising and stuff online,
ooh,
and I knew he made a lot of money with it. I remember he belonged to one of my memberships back then, and he showed a screenshot. He had made like 800,000 in revenue
nice.
using some pay-per-click affiliate marketing methods, and of course he had to spend like what did you spend to make that? But it was like it was half that. He just still did pretty well. But I remember he had said like he said like years when he was on the podcast, he was talking about how he had started his own agency and he was doing advertising for others. But somebody had to really talk him into it. He was out there, he was talking to people, and I think I don't want to say it was like a auto dealership or something, and they're like, can you do that for us? And he's like, I don't know, it's kind of wishy-washy. He had to actually be talked to. He's like, name your price. Was same like thing you were talking about. And and finally it's like, okay, talked him into it. I think it took us several times to get him in, and then he was, the rest is history. And he, that set the pace for everything he did after that. But it's just interesting sometimes, like, we get in our own way.
Oh
And
my God.
we if we would just say yes, just put a number out there, and you never know where that's going to take you. And but that's a confidence thing. That's a, like, there's so many
Oh
reasons
my
that you
gosh.
you stop
Confidence.
yourself. Yeah,
Yes.
confidence or imposter syndrome or something like that.
Yeah,
But
no, that is so real, especially. I mean, the funny thing is that I'm in year 4 now, but I talk to people that have been in business so much longer than me, and they also say, well, imposter syndrome. I'm like, wait, you too? Like, for real?
yeah, it doesn't always go away. No. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it does get better, but it doesn't completely disappear with a lot of things too, which is
Well,
so.
or things change. Like for me, like I typically am pretty confident. I've been doing what I do for a long, long
Oh,
time. But once in a while, I like to push things into new realms, and I'm doing something I never did before, and like, what am I doing here? But we
no,
figured it
that's
out. It,
true. Especially as digital professionals, I feel like we're going to be facing that for the next almost forever. ChatGPT 5 just dropped yesterday.
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Oh man.
Yeah. Especially with technology now, everything's changing at such a pace.
Rap.
So okay, so you're doing coaching now, and kind of what do you kind of what's your wheelhouse in terms of how you help people? And we want to talk about simplicity here. I mean, obviously there's a theme for everything we're talking about here, is keeping it simple. And how do you do that for others? I mean, and what are you doing specifically for them? Or is it still Instagram, or is it more than that?
It's more around
Video?
video in general.
Yeah.
And I find that we start with short videos because we gotta rack up easy wins. Video, I say it's the new public speaking. It
Hmm.
is such a pain in the neck to start because you hate the way you look and the way you sound, and it's like, oh no, this is so weird listening to myself. I'm like, yeah, it sucks to start. It sucks to learn because you might have to watch a lot of your recordings to feel like you're getting the hang of things or to figure out what's working, what's not. However, just like public speaking, the more progress you make with it, man, it opens really big doors, like disproportionately big. Because suddenly someone can be getting to know me. And the coolest thing is, like, I'll hop on a Zoom call for the first time with someone and they're like, I feel like we've known each other for ages. And I'm
I
like,
love
oh,
it.
cool.
Yeah.
It's the most amazing thing. Plus, it's happening when I'm not in the room. You're still talking to them when you're not in the room. It's the coolest thing.
Yeah.
So, I what I like to say is I help smart people make simple videos that book them great sales calls. And to really get that process going, I help them make really short, simple videos because that bypasses some of those hard parts.
So if you, I would imagine if you're going to do a long, no, I do a bunch of videos. In fact, I got a whole new initiative to do some shorts. I did a couple this last week,
So, yeah.
and but cause I tend to like to do the longer ones too, but at the same time, to do the longer ones, this is a different format. Like podcasting is, no,
Right.
I'm just kicking back right now. I'm just letting you lead. No, but
No,
we
please,
have no
please.
plan. We have no plan going in. We have a general idea. No, but sometimes, like, I've tried to do like longer form, like more educational videos and stuff, and I
Mm,
kind of have in the past. But that's harder to just get into. But you're talking about what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to just turn on the camera and just start talking, and then take a clip out of that and throw it up somewhere.
no,
Not
absolutely.
not worrying about effects and like how I look, and how do you, how do you talk somebody through that? Like, somebody's really like nervous about even getting on camera and stuff. What do those conversations look like?
So I find there's a few things that really help people that if I can convince them of these things, it makes it all so much easier. And one of them is people really tend to overthink the gear and the setting.
Mm,
The gear and the setting. It's funny because I think when we first started things like video podcasts and having your own channel, having a really cool background with like the purple LED light or whatever in the back, or the mood lamp, or like 3-point lighting and all of this, the first time you saw it was so cool. And you're like, wow, that guy is really awesome. But now it's a lot more common, like your Shure mic and your whatever gear you have. And what's funny I've noticed is that I got really good traction just with a selfie style video walking around outside or walking around inside or just walking around. It's funny, like the setting didn't even matter because different is better than different, or different is better than better. That's what it was. Just
different is better than
having,
better.
instead of like me sitting at a very cool studio setting and breaking down the social media game, I'm walking around with my camera and just talking straight to it. And because it was different, it stood out.
Mm,
And the cool part was I didn't have to invest in like a studio and things like that. I'm like, wait a second. And then someone was like, Ed, well, you have a cool camera. I'm like, yeah, I do. It is kind of cool. But, your smartphone's pretty good too. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, wait a second. How much would the smartphone tech cost, like, let's say 10 years ago, ChatGPT? And we did the math. This is like a $19 million piece of camera gear.
probably.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. You think 20 years ago, like, George Lucas is shooting episode 3, right? Like, on all digital cameras. He would kill for one of these. Like back in
Sure.
that day, he could do everything with one of these. And honestly, they are like 28 years later, the zombie movie that dropped this summer, shot on iPhones. F1, the Brad Pitt
Really?
movie that dropped this summer, they deconstructed the iPhones for it to mount them inside the F1 car. But it's a fun story. They actually used Apple camera tech from the phone.
No kidding. Wow.
This is a really good camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really good. And like what if I don't have a cool mic? Well, this thing originally, you might not remember, but it once was a phone. It has a decent,
Right. Yeah.
so you can talk to people
Decent.
on it. It was the main function, right? And so I started shooting
Yeah.
videos on the phone just to prove points. Like, no, this is actually super adequate. This is an iPhone 14. I'm 2 generations behind. It's not a pro phone. I was shooting on the X before that. And so I got an X. I finally switched off of my X when the 14 was a year old. So I don't know, I was like 5 years behind.
Yeah.
And I was shooting cool videos. I'm like, they're not like the most high fidelity, like super, super cool, but are they getting the results that we want to get? Are people getting to know me, like me, and trust me? Am I getting to demonstrate authority and expertise? And I'm like, you know what? It happened and it was on this thing. It's
Right. So you're not worried about the tech. You probably have the tech in your pocket
right, right.
and away you go. Yeah, I think but the results probably speak for themselves. Kind of, it's an experiment, put it out there, try it.
True,
And,
true, true, true.
and obviously there is, so it's kind of interesting because I've actually tried doing the walking in the park or in the trails and talking thing. It's not as, I don't know. I got to work on that. I even got a gimbal where like stabilizer.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Those are great.
It's awesome. It took me a little while to figure it out, but um, it's awesome. But at the same time, I was like, I felt a little awkward being out in the wilderness. I'm
I
working on
feel you.
that. I have some videos out there that used it, but at the end of the day, though, like I think if you know, and you're probably I'll bounce this off you, but I mean, I think part of it is being able to talk naturally about something. You're
Oh
you're,
yeah.
you're the expert. You're the authority. Choose a top. Sometimes it's. I think that's one of the things I always struggle with. Like, what am I going to talk about?
Oh, that I
Like,
mean
like,
that's the next layer. Yeah, for sure.
like,
The
like you
biggest.
got the easy tech. You can just throw a phone up. You don't even need that. You could just hold it up,
Oh, I like the
do a
way you said.
selfie.
Yeah, easy
Yeah.
tech. Um,
But what do you talk about?
easier topics. I mean, it's the same principle. There, I joked about this once, and then it actually stuck. So I call it the Yell test. If it's something that you feel strongly enough to yell about, actually that would be a great video. And you
Yep.
choose you choose the softball topics because honestly, I think our resistance against the easy, simple topics is like, oh, no one wants to know that, but we have the curse of knowledge, you and I. If you're good at
Right,
what you
right.
do, you might be better off in many ways talking about the simple beginner stuff, at least as like to talk marketing strategy. This is top of funnel kind of stuff. This is very broad appeal. And a lot of people that aren't the right client, it'll appeal to them, but it'll also appeal to a lot of the right client because it just appeals to a lot of people. And so, what's the simplest idea? It like the one reason that people have such a hard time with video is like, oh, I don't want to edit is part of it. I will have to say it over and over and over. It's going to take me so many takes. That's another problem that I found we have to overcome. And so the easiest solution that knocks both of those out is, well, let's just choose something where you can be brilliant for at least a half minute without stumbling over your words. And the thing that you're going to kill it with is something you feel very strongly about that you know like the back of your hand. And you make it one idea, one video. You don't try to knock down three reasons. Like there's this one video script that I realized is everyone's favorite that helps them make their first video, even if they've never been on camera or they hate being on camera. We knock it out in about 10 minutes flat. It's three pieces. I would call it everyone's favorite. I might just change the name to everyone's favorite video script, but it's three steps. One is you say, here's something I've been thinking about that might help you. And then you say, two, you say the idea. One cool idea that they haven't thought about. Or actually, maybe cool is the wrong word. Simple, easy, plain idea. And then you give them one reason why. And then you cut the video while you're ahead. You quit while you're ahead because you can probably say those three things without stumbling over your words. And so I don't know, like if I was to explain something, here's something I've been thinking about that might help you. Your camera on your phone is your best camera. Why? It's always in your pocket and it's actually a $19 million camera. Quit while I'm
Oh,
ahead. Yeah. Because I'm at that point, I'm like, wait, what am I going to say next? Ah, screw it. Stop. And what I tell my
right.
clients is like everything else you can just type. That's your caption. That's how it works, especially on LinkedIn.
So what is it again? It's the three things.
The
What
three
what is it
things.
again?
You're going to say, here's something I've been thinking about that might help you. This is good, by the way, because it keeps you from saying the biggest mistakes that I see people making on video, which is, hey guys, or hi, it's me, Ed. like,
Yeah. Hey, everybody.
hey, what's up? Like these things are not optimal. Because if no one knows you and they see this on their feed, they immediately like, I don't care, swipe. But if this is not the best hook, we use that word, right? That's like the technical phrase for this. This is the hook where you grab someone's attention, you hook them. Is it the best hook ever written? Nah, but it's something you can remember and that you can get started with. Because once you start racking up easy wins, hook, idea, reason, quit. Once you start racking up a few of these, you can get more creative without stumbling over your words. Maybe you realize you can drop that hook if the idea is strong enough.
Hmm.
The phone in your pocket is the best the camera in your pocket is the best camera you already have. Did I need to say here or something? Actually, no, it worked. Or you can switch that hook for a better hook. If you have been agonizing over which camera to buy and freaking out over your Black Friday camera purchase, let me give you some good news. The camera in your pocket is the best camera you already own, right?
That,
And we can quit while we're ahead, or if I'm getting better and more confident, that's when I launch my rant. That's
yeah.
when I launch my reasons that I will not stumble over and I will just go for it.
Yeah.
So,
One of the things you said here is like I think you know, and I've kind of worked through this. I don't know if I've ever done it like, hey, this is Matt. How's it going? I probably have done it. I've done a lot of video, but going right into it, like if they like your content, if they like what they just heard, they're gonna find out more about you. They're gonna go to your profile. They're gonna do, but you
absolutely.
don't have to do that in the video. Just get right to because like a website, Like when we talk about websites and how
Ooh,
they perform
yeah.
and conversions and getting somebody to take action, that first second is important. That first 2 seconds is important as well. The
Everything.
3 seconds is important, but to keep them on there, the headline, the something to capture them and say, I'm in the right place. I need this, whatever, like if you're looking for, dog toys, you're not on a cat toys. Like it's something, you're in the right place. But
Absolutely.
the same with video. Like it's interesting. I recorded a video the other, like I said, I've been doing a couple videos. I did one, I think it was yesterday. Um, and I tend to get wordy. I can get wordy. I can do podcast. I have solo podcasts I do. I can talk for, usually I will be like, I'm going to sit down. Let's just do a half hour today. And then suddenly it's an hour.
Nice.
What have I
Wow.
been talking about the whole time? I don't know. But I try to do a short. So I've been trying to do shorts, right? But even my shorts, like by the time I'm done, it's like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. I'm like,
Mm.
that's not short. Now, I don't know what your definition of what a good short is, but I'm going to guess it's smaller than that. So what I did yesterday is I had recorded this and I'm like, it seems too long. So literally like the last like 10, 15, 20 seconds, I can't remember what it was. I cut everything else out. I went right to that juice right there. I'm like, and I took that and I put that up on LinkedIn and Instagram. I think I put
Wow.
it up. And then I had a, text in the post that kind of went more into depth what I had talked about that first probably minute.
Yeah.
I did capture that in the post itself, but the clip is probably more. Now I don't know how my clips do okay. I'm excited if I get 10 people to like something,
Let's
but
go.
but I felt that was like I had was groundbreaking to me. I'm like I don't need to like I can even. That's why I like to do the longer podcast because I like to pull clips out of it.
Right.
Like I
Right.
know, like somebody commented today on we did a clip of their recent podcast, and she's like, "Oh, this is awesome! You're like mining for the best bits from it." I'm like, "Yeah, guys, I know if I do a 45 minutes to an hour podcast, there's going to be at least a couple good clips out of there,
Wow.
So do you do that? Do you talk to throw it back to you so I can?
No, absolutely.
Enough
Yes.
about me. But do you is that a technique that I discovered, or is that something Is there a
Oh,
lesson in there somewhere
that's a
that?
beautiful strategy. In fact, I've heard there was a guy I was at a workshop about podcasts because I've been thinking about my own podcast possibly in the future. But his whole
Do it,
career, yeah, you say so?
do it, yeah, do it. Whole
Yeah.
podcast about keeping things simple. I love it.
No,
Yeah,
actually, oh, that's the idea. Oh man. Okay, I'm excited. When I'm excited, then that's when the momentum happens. But what he
you
was
heard it here first. Go.
you
Sorry,
heard it
I'll
here
stop.
first. Podcast. Unfiltered, let's go. We're building.
Woohoo!
So what
Okay.
he was saying is that a lot of downloads are down on podcasts because back in the day, it was like your downloads on Apple that caused you to get discovered. It was your views on Apple. And don't get me wrong, it's still important. The algorithm still counts that very high. But back in the day, did we have Instagram? Did we have TikTok? Did we have vertical video? No, everyone looked at you funny if you shot a video like this. You always shoot
Yeah.
your video like this. And now it's the opposite. And what he said he's finding is that I don't care whether my podcasts get that many downloads anymore. I'm like, what? He's like, because especially with the younger generations, but not just them, older people too. He says people will say they listen to your podcast if they consume the shorts, if they consume the vertical video clips of it. And it's crazy. So he's like, you just need to be clipping out good parts and getting traction here or there now. And that people will say, I love your podcast. They don't subscribe to you, they don't download it, they just watch the clips. And honestly, especially as a business owner running a podcast, like, well, that's what I wanted in the first place anyway. And so creating clips out of this super efficient. And I think it's one of the best tricks, honestly, to help people talk to the camera like they're talking to a person. Because, hey, look at us. We're talking to each other. And we forget that this is video. We forget that this is a camera in between us and we're going to be making content. No, I'm just talking to my friend Matt, right?
Yeah.
We're just chilling and
Yeah.
having a good time, chopping it up, talking life, business. And that's the best part because good video feels like the person is talking to you. And especially now with short form video, I feel like in the last 5 years, there's been this huge trend towards we don't want the more produced version of you. We want something more authentic. We want something more natural. We don't want just, even Alex Hormozy, like, who is a complete boss and has access to all this studio gear. He has also gone back to whiteboard videos and lo-fi and like, yo, I'm just shooting this on a shaky camera and just yelling at you. Like,
Yeah.
it's going
Yeah.
back to that.
Beautiful. No, again, so we have a YouTube channel too,
Oh
I,
yeah.
and we always kind of experimenting. We do clips on there and stuff. And we, I was on there. I don't pay that much attention to YouTube. It's a small channel and I don't, it's kind of another place we put stuff.
Right, right, right.
And we've slowly, we don't have that. We got 160 some subscribers or something. So not worried about it. But what I was on there, I don't know, it's a couple months ago, and now I have a VA that helps me. She does all the distribution of
Nice.
this and everything and the content. She does the clips and I don't even worry about it. She does an awesome job. But she had been putting some clips on there, whatever they call them there, shorts.
Shorts, yeah.
And she had stopped. And then one day I was in there, I was looking at the podcast. I was like, okay, normal views on that longer form, right?
Right, right.
And then I looked at the clips and I'm like, I'm seeing like hundreds of views and just, like they were doing really well. And I went back to her like, we need to be doing more of that because that seems to be getting some traction. And that's, it was the shorter versions of those clips and different things we were doing. There were some of them that were just, spiking up. So on, contextually, like our version of that's awesome.
No, yeah.
Somebody else would be like, if I get 10,000 views or,
Yo,
for me,
awesome.
I get excited about hundreds.
And I think that's fair. Let me push back because you did say something about 10 likes. Honestly, there are times like that's a good chamber breakfast sometimes, you know what I mean? Like 10 likes, 10 people watching the video. I'd be stoked if 10 people came out to a chamber private workshop with me.
Right.
That's actually really cool. I mean, it's awesome when there's 100 or 1,000 too, for sure. But like honestly, I think we overvalue mass and we forget, well, I only got 10 views. How cool it would be to sit with 10 people and get to talk about this topic with them. How cool it would be to have 50 people in a room listening to me.
That's a
And that's
great
the
one.
power of video. I mean, we're just so obsessed with more when the like I can tell you on my Instagram, I was shocked when I realized I don't have to have a huge follower count or millions of views to start closing business. I made my first $4,000 on Instagram with new client work before I hit my first 4,000. I actually still don't have 4,000 followers on
Nice.
Instagram. I have
Yeah.
a thousand and a half, right?
This is a huge, just pause here. This is a huge lesson.
Mm,
We've been creating content for years. I've been working with the same VA, who will be editing or listening to this too. Hi. Um, we, we, we've been working together for more than 4.5, almost 5 years now and creating content regularly. And the thing is, I remember early days, I was like kind of in Gary Vee for a while. I'm like looking
right.
at that, like, wow, look at all the views he gets, all the stuff he's doing. Let's emulate that, We never got there, obviously, but maybe we're the Gary Vee of our little niche and what we do.
Oh
And
my
we're not
word.
going to have those. It's going to be more targeted. But we always focused on the results
Right.
contextually for us. We're doing amazing. It's like you got some results. Us, we've out of LinkedIn and stuff like that, even with our small little account, we've gotten some great contracts and relationships and
Amazing.
partnerships
Love
and
it.
and just keep doing what we're doing. Our baseline, we've figured out our thing, and it's not going to be millions of views. Sometimes I think, like, do I even want that? What I would have to. That would be madness. I can't even keep track up with what I got. So yeah, I mean, I agree with you 100%. I think it's awesome that you have the same results from Instagram that way.
We got to remember what the real thing we're going after is. It's so easy to get sidetracked. It's such like I almost said a bad word. I don't really do that. That's not on brand. But it really screws with your mind. A polite way to say it, right? It really screws with your mind. Chasing views because the first time you get what feels like viral for you, it's like 10 to 100x what you usually do. It's so screwy. It's like this changes everything. No, it
It's not
doesn't. And
me.
then like and the funniest thing that I've been realizing this year, and this was the big unlock that led me to start working more one-on-one and plotting. I'm actually secretly planning a community. I saw your episode about communities, by the way.
Oh, nice.
That was
Oh,
cool.
cool.
So I was like,
Yeah, with
that
Carol.
was
Yeah.
cool. But she's so right. But anyway, like helping people understand that video, there is so much value in just being able to let people get to know your face, your voice. You get remembered so much easier. It's so powerfully attractive to the right people and repellent to the wrong people, honestly.
Mhm.
It's kind of cool if someone watches you on video and they don't like you. Well, would they like working with you in person? Maybe not. And that's
Yeah,
okay.
you save some time because
You
now they
saved
you don't have to
saved
deal
us
with
all
them.
time. It's brilliant, actually. But then, like the with social media, say we only got 10 likes. Well, do I actually know those 10 people? And on LinkedIn, I can see who they are. Have I connected with them yet? Have I at least shot them a DM to say hi? Thanks so much for liking my video. Like seriously, I've sent DMs and got DM'd back, and people are just like, "By the way, I love your content. How do I work with you?" I'm like, why didn't I send DMs earlier?
That's a
Just
great idea. Yeah.
simple follow up on the content. You only got 10 likes. Well, actually, that could be 10 conversations. And who knows where those go? You're only one DM away sometimes from your next client, right?
Wow, that's a great thing to kind of end on. I just realized like we're almost to an hour already. We're like
Oh yeah, we are. Yeah, I have a
I was
lot to
talking about
digest here.
me. I was talking about me. I'm like, and suddenly it's an hour, and here we are. Um, so what do you? Let's have you land on something. So we had a lot of good nuggets here. A lot of golden nuggets coming out of this conversation. A lot of good clips.
Let's
But
go.
where? How do anything you want to end with? Some final advice on like getting out there and getting being brave and putting out those simple videos. Getting started. Anything
100%.
in?
100%. No, everyone has something to share that would change someone's life, especially if you're a business owner and you had the courage to go out there and do this crazy thing that most people never even imagine doing. You've got something that someone else needs, even if you're in year one. There are people that are at year -2 that are like, wait, how do you get
-2.
started? Right? Like, I don't know. Your year one experiences are valuable to someone. So make that video. And if you're hesitant about video or honestly almost anything, but let's make it about video, what's simple is what gets done. The easiest way to get it done is to make it simpler. And then you can do that version of it. You'll get better and then you'll do the complicated version someday, but just get something done. Get the simple version done. And yeah, just simplify, simplify, simplify ruthlessly if you have to.
Love it. All right. Well, Ed, this has been great. It's an awesome conversation. If somebody wants to reach out to you, they want to find you. Where do you hang out on the World Wide Web? Where's your website again?
Awesome. So my website is supersimplemarketing.net. That's also where you can find me on YouTube and on Instagram at Super Simple Marketing. However, I will tell you the place that I love making content the absolute most right now is LinkedIn. I almost live there. And you can find me at Ed Oyama. That's Oyam as in Martha, A. And you can look me up there and I'll be stoked to connect. And if you want my 5-minute video script, everyone's favorite, you can actually download it for free at One Simple Video. That's the number one ONE or spell it out, ONE, not the number one, ONE, simplevideo.com.
Very good. Well, this has been a lot of fun, Ed.
Oh, this
Until
was
next
so
time.
much fun, man. This is great.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Builders Podcast. One more quick note about our sponsors. At Unified Web Design, we're passionate about doing better together, partnering with agencies and businesses to deliver exceptional web design, development, and ongoing support. And UnifiedLabs.ai is where we explore smart, practical ways to integrate AI directly into your website and e-commerce flows. From intelligent chatbots to marketing automation to back-end reporting, all with a strong focus on user experience and making your systems work smarter. If you haven't already, subscribe or follow to stay updated on future episodes. And if you enjoyed today's conversation, sharing it with someone who might benefit helps us grow this amazing community. Until next time, keep building smarter, bolder, and with purpose.